What can you see in this painting? A synagogue? Most likely Orthodox. What else? The name of the painting suggests that this is Yom Kippur. So you can see that all people who are participating in this service are full of energy and very enthusiastic about the prayer, especially the purpose in the stripped, colorful talit. There have been many scientific experiments about the importance of role models. For example, exposure of images of women in leadership roles can reduce gender biases and help people to see beyond gender. And I recently remembered that my first rabbi I've ever met in person was a woman. And only recently did I realize that it was something unusual. Because paintings like this are the norm in representation of Judaism, where men holding Torah, some praying, but women in the gallery chatting. Coming back to this painting, I think the most important question here is not about what you can see, but what you cannot see. There are many motives that we can analyze in this painting, and one of them is the artist's life, which is impossible to guess from just looking at it unless you know it. It has been suggested that one of the women upstairs is a depiction of Laura Henschel Rosenfeld, the artist's fiancée at the time. Which one, we don't know, but it is very likely that one of the women upstairs is her. Ezra Mendelssohn, late professor of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, notes that this painting is also a triple self-portrait of the artist. He writes, yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, he writes, Maurizi himself stands in a colorful, exotic-looking talit with head in hand. On the left, we have the artist as a small boy wearing a medallion with his initials written in Hebrew, and on the extreme right, as a young male figure, perhaps again Maurizi, reading from the prayer book alongside a man who might well be his father. The painting presents an account of the artist's whole life. If you zoom in and look at the mantle of the Torah scroll, you will be able to read the inscription in Hebrew. This scan of the picture is not good enough, so we can't really read it from the screen. But believe me, it is there. The Hebrew reads, donation in memory of Reb Moshe Gottlieb. Moshe is Mauritz's Hebrew name. The righteous of blessed memory. A year after the painting's completion, Laura broke up with Maurizi and married another man. And soon after that, the young artist died. Suddenly, now, when you look at this, when you know the story, this painting becomes not about Yom Kippur at all, or a synagogue, or a Torah scroll. Now, it's about the life of a broken-hearted artist. If you don't know the story, you become a Balaam who cannot see the full picture, even if it is in front of your own eyes. This is how another artist, this painting was interpreted by another artist, Leon Fenster. It is clearly inspired by Gottlieb's painting, but presented with a British twist, dressing up the participants in a traditional high British synagogue dress. And in some synagogues, people still wear these hats and this dress. Leon Fenster is a British artist who works in a new form of storytelling. His works depict the world not chronologically or geographically, but as we remember it in our dreams and imagination, as kaleidoscopes of interwoven memories collided together to form new stories and ideas. So his works are full of details, well-researched, and very colorful. This is his interpretation or his painting. So what I showed you is a part of his vision of Jewish London, unveiled this week in Finchley Road near JW3 Centre as one of the largest murals I've ever seen in my life. So what can you see here? Not much. Too many details. But as usual, when I saw it, I began to notice what I know, what looks familiar to me. And what I particularly appreciate about this mural is its good representations of all sides of Jewish life in London. I'm extremely grateful to the artist for not choosing an easy way of portraying stereotypical Jewish space with mainly white men wearing black hats and praying. There is more than one way of being Jewish, and this mural reflects it very well. For example, I was very proud to see the liberal Jewish synagogue. I was also very proud to see Lily Montague in it. Although the description of her on Leon Fenster's website has some serious factual inaccuracies, but I forgive him for it. I wouldn't have recognized her, Lily Montague, without description, without capture. But nevertheless, she has such a prominent position and size in the mural, and it's very well deserved. And for those of you who would like to learn more about her, she is now part of our exhibition. So if you exit the synagogue through the main doors at the back and turn right, you will see the exhibition dedicated to Lily Montague. This is new, just finished less than a week ago. There are also some of our members depicted on it. For example, Bernard Kops, Zichrono Levracha. There is a good representation of progressive rabbis and cantors, Julia Neuberger, Jackie Tabik, and cantor Zoe Jacobs. I'm sure that the mural has more references to contemporary progressive Judaism that I didn't notice. What struck me is that different people focus on different elements of this artwork. During this week, I saw many rabbis and Jewish communal leaders doing exactly what I just did, picking the elements of the mural that's relevant to their synagogue or their Judaism, on their Jewish world. Although this is a natural start, I think it must not be the end. If there are important elements for the LJS community portrayed here, it means that all other elements represent significant stories too. We must not be satisfied with a closed, particularistic approach and only focus on those parts of Judaism that's close to us. The true strength is to be clear about who you are and to know about others and speak with anyone. The Balaam story, I think, has a similar message. At some point, Balaam became an archetype of an ultimate villain in rabbinic literature. But on the other hand, chapter 22, part of which we heard today, paints a very different picture. In it, Balaam is a faithful servant of God who repeatedly insists that no matter what, he can only say or do only what God instructs him to. In fact, at the end of the story, even though he was hired to curse Israelites, he didn't. He blessed them. He said 4 poems, 4 oracles that are blessings of the Jewish people and not curses. So the logical question arises, what's wrong with that? Isn't it what the Torah ultimately wants people to do, to trust God and to do what Torah and God tells you to? In fact, in Numbers Rabbah, Balaam was described as much powerful and skillful prophet among non-Jews as Moses among the Jews. Even though he could not see the angel blocking the road, God explicitly allowed Balaam to go with Balak's dignitaries. Balaam never disobeyed God, and yet was portrayed as a villain. Why? There are many stories, there are many theories about it. And rabbis tried really hard to make him a bad person, mostly focusing on his personal life, nothing to do with what he did in the chapter. They make up elements of his life that would be very immoral. But my favorite interpretation comes from the Talmud, Tractate Sanhedrin. The rabbis have a theory about his name. They play on the name Balaam and say that he was indeed not Balaam, or Bilam, but Beloam. A person without a nation, without a sense of belonging. He had no loyalty, no personal connection to any group whatsoever. Perhaps what makes God and Talmudic rabbis angry is not connected to Balaam's prophecy or the story from the Torah, blessings, curses. Perhaps this is all about the fact that his actions were divorced from his own people. It becomes a worship where religious service stands alone and separate from a person's identity and commitments. So taking these interpretations further, the main idea of Balaam's story is, I think, twofold. It's important to have an identity and a sense of belonging. It's crucial. Your personal identity is not a contradiction or in conflict with others. The fact that I am a liberal Jew must not stop me from respecting and learning about and from others. In fact, it must inspire me to learn about others. What helps you to see humanity in people who are very different from you? Well, according to this story, you can only understand the value of being different if you truly appreciate your own uniqueness. Diverse and inclusive society is only possible when each culture, religion, nation is given a chance to thrive, not to be forced to be exactly like everybody else. We, the Jewish people, should not be shy and secretive about our rich tradition, culture, and way of life. We should learn about it and speak about it with pride. However, we should never stop there. Our own pride and the sense of identity should be the starting point and inspiration to learn about others. Only through a deep understanding of ourselves and what we don't share with people next to us can we truly appreciate the difference in others. A world where you are forced to be just like everyone else or be silent about it, about your uniqueness, is oppressive and grey. A world without curiosity about others is tribal. So we need both. We need to celebrate our own unique belonging, combined with, in the words of Rabbi Heschel, radical amazement about everything that surrounds us. Shabbat Shalom.